Sage isn't the best pick.
But the actual dumpster tier character on the list is none other than Sage.
Nuked across the board, removing a lot of the flexibility in her kit. Now her wall no longer is as effective in reactive use against big pushes, but also as well worse to create a safe res.
They absolutely destroyed this girl, and she's not coming back.
I don't believe in Sage. I also think Sage, when you run a Sage, you're dropping a duelist for Sage usually, and I don't think a team with Sage can keep up with double, even triple duelists.
There once was a time where there was a Sage in every game on every team. And if there wasn't a Sage on the other team, then that game would be an automatic win. Now, people laugh at the team with a Sage, wondering why are they playing an agent that bad. There was no point to play her. I too thought this was true, but always had that feeling that I would once go back to her. And about a few weeks later, after the huge patches, I played her again. I got used to all the nerfs and accepted them, trying to make them as good as I could. I just couldn't find a way. And then, I started playing Sage with her wall. Not just to block off areas, but to get me in a better position to stop enemies from getting onto the site by letting gunplay take an effect, rather than the slow push play. This worked much better for me, and has helped me win so many times. If you die as Sage, just make sure you took 2 of them down with you, and let your teammates pick up the refrag. If you think Sage was nerfed to the ground, then you're wrong. But the day Riot takes away the Sage wall-up privileges is the day Sage is dead. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can play Sage, and why she deserves an S tier. Wall 1 on a site at Icebox can really stop a push onto the site. The wall requires a little practice at first, but once you start to practice it enough, it'll become second nature. You need to wall yourself up in a way that you don't hit your head on the ceiling of the top area. What you need to do is you need to walk out to the left and make sure you stay on the wall, like so. And then when you do this successfully, you'll have a good position on A site entrance as well as under the tube from mid. And if the enemy team 5-sec site, you could camp behind here and the enemy team won't see you. I will be doing this wall a lot throughout the video, and will mainly just show you where the spots are and me getting up there. With all that aside, on to the next wall. Wall 2 is on the same site, right on top of the boxes here. The wall is pretty straightforward and doesn't require too much skill at all. All you need to do is create a wall that is parallel to Sage on the side here, and then Sage can walk on top of this wall to contest with the enemy. Surprisingly, the enemy team is oblivious to the player here, and as long as you can aim, this should be an easy kill, or maybe double kill. Alright, so this next wall has a good spot to look out for, but the main reason I'm showing you this wall is for the mechanic I'm using. This wall mechanic is called the Willen wall, and is basically a trick shot wall, but you get a really nice spot with it. It's not a beginner skill at all, so if you really want to do this, you have to master it by practicing, obviously. But whenever you're doing the Willen wall, you have to make sure you look down at the ground when you're at the highest point, and that's when you place the wall. The Willen wall is executed by either a jump or running jump. So when you jump at that highest point, you look down at the ground and then place the wall. This gives you the best chances for the wall to work out. I'm going to show you the wall in this next clip. As you can see, I look down at the wall, and at the highest point, I place it and get a successful Willen wall. And even in this place that I'm at, it still can hold some pretty good angles depending on the situations. So make sure you practice. Alright, these next 2 walls I'm going to show you are just like the first wall in the video. It's a straight fall out of any top site thing that's on Icebox. These walls get pretty easy with some practice. You just got to get used to them. It's not too difficult for players. It's very easy to get used to, and if you're playing Sage, you really need to master this if you want to get good on Icebox. So yeah, these walls, as you can see in these clips, you can see Sage get out of any of the top sites and kill the enemy teams. Some spots watch flank, some spots watch the spike after post spike plant. Some spots do different things, but it just depends on any situation you're in. You really got to come up with these on your own and just kind of think about it instead of me telling you like where you need to place your wall and stuff like that. So you really need to kind of use your brain. I don't mean to say it like that, but you just gotta think with your mind where and when the best time is to use a strafe wall. And that brings me to the last wall that I'm going to show you. This wall is where you wall it up right at the spawn on attacking side. If anybody likes to push mid, then you'll teach them a lesson with this wall, because they will not push mid ever again after this, because why would they if you're just gonna shoot an op right in the face? You get great sights on all of mid, and you can basically kill anybody with this wall. You could do it with a teammate, you could do it by yourself, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure you have an op or Marshall to get aim in, and if you're using Marshall, hit the head or just damage the other team, and then you probably will die. But it's a pretty good wall, because if they're pushing, they're probably gonna have vandals and not gonna be able to hit you from that far away, depending on what rank you're in. And this, oh, I forgot about this last wall, but this last wall isn't really too good of a wall. It's more of like a, because Jet or Omen can get on the spots that you're trying to get to. But this last wall is just kind of like a wall to get yourself in position for attacking, just watching like certain areas, because that's how Sage should be played. Just help your team attack by watching areas that enemies are prone to be in, and help your team defend by killing the areas that teams push from. It's just all about getting yourself in a great position. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something. Subscribing always helps. And yeah, that's basically it. The new meta is the old meta. Peace.